Have you ever found yourself wondering about the events someone has gone through in past relationships and how those situations could affect their behavior now? You are not on your alone. The minute ways in which human history shape our relationships and interactions greatly fascinate many of us. This movie lets us investigate a sensitive but totally vital issue that will help us to grasp the dynamics of contemporary relationships. 10 main indicators will enable you to ascertain whether a woman has had several sexual partners. Before we go right to the subject, let me set the stage with a narrative. Imagine you are at an enthusiastic social event. The room is full of glass clinking, laughing, and verbal action. Among the throng, you come upon someone attracting your eye right away. She is attractive, confident, and most definitely friendly. But as the evening goes on, you begin to see some behaviors she engages in that demand more background research. This interest is more about knowing how her background might guide her present than about evaluating her. Let's politely and gently look at these symptoms. Always keep in mind that our objective is to improve our communication and understanding instead of to criticize. We will look at these signals in a way that is thorough, yet reasonable, so that you might negotiate relationships with more awareness. 1. Behavior and attitude. Imogen walking into a crowded cafe on a bright afternoon. She is obviously across the room, laughing, filling the clinking of coffee cups as she is animatedly conversing to pals. Her very being has magnetic resonance. She is clearly at ease in any conversation, confident and friendly. But as you become to know her, you begin to see a pattern in her conduct and attitude that would suggest a more complicated story hidden under surface-level events. What then tells the narrative here? Attitude and behavior are the first rather important indicators to pay special attention to. Though it sounds simple, there is great complexity involved. Let's dissect it using a narrative about someone we shall name Sarah. Sarah seems able to help everyone around her to unwind. She is not only nice. People find great appeal in her simplicity. Sarah first seems to be just an extrovert who enjoys mixing. Still, spending more time with her helps you to realize how her interactions reveal something more. She talks about former relationships with a detached attitude, as though she were compiling facts rather than emotional experience. When Sarah discusses her dating past, you could not be expecting the emotional weight. She laughs fast instead at the subtleties. This kind of behavior would indicate someone who has navigated several relationships and learned about maintaining emotional limits intact. Still, another important factor influencing Sarah's behavior is her confidence. Views relationships as laid back and sometimes agrees that every one of them offers an opportunity for development instead of a major commitment. Her experiences, she has had several partners, may have molded her attitude that of some emotional detachment. Think about how this could sour her relationships. Sarah could come seem as laid back, someone who doesn't sink quickly under the alterations of dating. This indicates her path instead of being a negative quality at all. She has developed the ability to strike a balance between her intimacy and autonomy, but sometimes this equilibrium seems to be lacking the emotional connection. In relationships, Sarah's approach could be described as prioritizing the here instead of long-term preparation. She enjoys company and the pleasures others bring, but she could be less likely to make significant future investments in any one relationship. Her past informs her viewpoint, as the regularity and variety of her relationships have let her enjoy the now and negotiate relationships with a combination of openness and detachment. So keep in mind that sometimes events shape conduct and attitude of people like Sarah. The next time you cross them, their actions are only one factor. Another is the path they followed to get to approach relationships as they do. And the plot really starts here. 2. Social circle. See yourself at the lively rooftop party for summer evenings. People mix, tell stories, and chuckle under the city lights. Among the throng is Emma, a woman who moves between groups rather naturally. She feels just as at ease meeting up with past pals and striking up chats with more recent ones. Her social circle is varied and she seemed to know everyone in some manner. Seeing Emma would get you considering her relationships and what they expose about her. Social circles are more usually reflections of deeper features of a person's prior experiences and relationship patterns than they would be simple gathering of friends. Emma's extensive and diversified network would point to her several romantic activities. Emma's natural fit in numerous social circles talks much about her handling these connections. Not only about knowing a lot of people, those who have had several partners usually have a big social network and interact with a wide range of people. Emma's natural flow between several circles suggests some degree of ease and adaptability in numerous social situations. Let's now softly go Emma's narrative even deeper. Imagine if she's throwing a get-together and the guest list includes a who's who of several social scenes. Her college buddies, former colleagues, new friends from a recent hobby class, and even some she met on tour mixed together. Her ability to stay in touch with such a varied group points to events that have exposed her to a range of other social settings. One can get this outstanding network by means of a dynamic and varied relationship past. Having gone through multiple relationships, someone who often contacts a wide spectrum of people from friends and acquaintances to romantic partners has seen many different people. Their exposure helps their social circle to get rather large. Emma's social circle can also mirror her simplicity in altering social dynamics. Her natural fit with fresh people and circumstances could suggest that she is accustomed to negotiating many social settings, a talent gained throughout many past events and relationships. Moreover, this large network can help to prevent emotional sensitivity. Maintaining a varied network of friends and acquaintances enables someone with a history of numerous partnerships avoid strong emotional commitments and instead choose to make things more laid back and balanced. Therefore, when you meet someone like Emma, pay attention to how her social network may reveal signs regarding her history. It's not just about the count of relationships, but also about how such events have affected her social life. Every face she encounters reveals a tapestry, spun from many separate strands of her past. 3. Lack of emotional attachment. Imagine you are eating with Lavra, a woman whose everything seems to be in line. She is friendly and interesting. Tonight she seems to be having fun. But Lavra remembers events with an unexpectedly cold tone. When the topic shifts to prior relationships, she talks almost clinically exactly about her past relationships, absent from the emotional weight one could expect. Laura's ability to talk about her former relationships, free from emotional entanglement, exposes her background quite obviously. It is about her emotional condition as shown by her behavior, as much as concerning her past. Many times one comes across someone who has had multiple love relationships without emotional attachment. Let's look at Laura's life to help us to know whether she might be disengaged. Lavra has had several relationships. Each one provides unique experiences, but none long enough to create a strong emotional bond. She has grown quiet over time following this trend. Her humorous and anecdotal stories help her to reveal her heritage without allowing it to weigh her now. Laura's dissociation seems more like a coping mechanism than a sign of coldness. Every connection she had guided her to stay away from the possible discomfort of strong emotional commitment. Her ability to negotiate her present relationships free from the emotional weight of former ones hinges on this self-preservation strategy. Her dialogues would also show this inclination. Lavra may come across as more pragmatic than impassioned. When she talks about her emotions or the depth of her contacts with people, her great romantic past usually shapes this technique, since it helps one to control the intricacy of many relationships by means of emotional distance. Thus, think about how past events might affect the present interactions of someone like Lavra, who seems to be emotionally disconnected. Usually, their actions aid them to regulate the emotional turbulence of their past, therefore preserving equilibrium and allowing the forward development. 4. Physical indicators. Imagine yourself laying on sand at a beach party. When you see Mia confidently interacting among the attendees, she has easy and relaxed body language and looks great. Whether it's hugging pals, light dancing, or intimate talks, Mia participates physically rather naturally. You find her open and laid-back style appealing. Mia is well known. Thus, you could find that her body language transcends the relaxed party environment. Her simplicity with physical touch and body confidence would serve to expose her former relationships really extensively. But why is everything as they are? Let us now join Mia's narrative. Mia has negotiated multiple love relationships, each one honing her sense of physical touch and proximity. Her approach on physical relationships has changed over time from these exchanges. Those who have had multiple partners usually feel more comfortable with their own body and those of others. More crucial than confidence is familiarity, an adjustment based on the ease of physically. For Mia, her natural ease in physical relationships points on a road of self-discovery and acceptance. She has come to embrace her body and the several ways it may interact with people through several partnerships. Her confidence in physical touch and sensitivity to love gestures expose how past events affected her present attitude. Moreover, Mia's simplicity of physical proximity exposes her approach of intimacy. She might approach physical contact with a sense of familiarity and apathy, a trait honed from often negotiating personal situations. For the complexity of her former relationships, her comfort can stem from their result as much as from a technique of control. Therefore, keep in mind that many times the physical touch and body confidence you see in someone like Mia result from a great volume of past experience. Her cool head and natural ease in her physical contacts reveal how her prior love has molded her attitude to intimacy and connection. 5. Communication patterns. Imagine yourself chatting at a little bookshop cafe with a woman called Ava. You learn as you talk that Ava is quite gifted in reading between the lines. She is listening to your words as well as minute cues, your tone, body language, even the gaps in your speech. Her targeted and deliberate answers help you to really feel heard and understood. Ava's eloquent speech would imply a more complex background. People who have gone through multiple relationships usually have better communication abilities. This is true when consistent contacts with several partners expose children to a range of communication styles and emotional demands. Let's now start Ava's tale. Ava has come across several personalities and communication styles over her several relationships. Her experience has especially helped her to recognize and handle many conversational signs. She has developed the ability to adapt her approach to suit different people. This ability becomes really strong with time. Ava's conversational style captures her trip across these numerous exchanges. She might be really talented for instance in sympathetically handling difficult subjects or tactically addressing problems. She has grown to combine sensitivity and openness by negotiating many emotional environments. Ava might also approach talks differently, usually pointing them in the direction of more open communication or tighter relationships. Her answers might be perceptive, displaying her awareness of complicated emotional dynamics and her capacity for meaningful interaction with others. Ava's rich relationships really help her to have good communication abilities. Every interaction has let her reply to people with the depth of information gained from years of running many conversational settings. Thus, meet someone like Ava with complicated communication patterns and understand that these abilities are usually developed from a rich background of relationship events. Her mastery of empathetic and sensitive communication is evidence of the expertise gained from numerous earlier encounters. She can relate and articulate. Exactly 6. Relationship frequency. You start chatting to a woman called Claire at a friend's barbecue. She admits a run of brief romances over the past year and speaks animatedly about her most recent dating adventures. Claire's dating past seems to be one of constant change in relationships and roles Claire's frequency of relationships could offer. One very important clue about her upbringing: people who have had multiple partners could have a background including both temporary and more committed relationships. This constant search for change between partnerships may expose a lot about their attitude to closeness and loyalty. Let us then now examine Claire's narrative. Claire has gone through a range of relationships with various dynamics and obstacles over years. Her history of repeated relationship fluctuations points to either active inquiry on many facets of connection or seek for fresh experiences. Every new friend offers chances for connection, learning, or development. Claire's behavior also reveals her attitude to dedication. Some people who had a lot of past relationships could find the thrill of fresh contacts more tempting than the regularity of long-term activities. This could result from a desire to keep going when partnerships grow ordinary or challenging, or from a wish to always explore several sides of love. Relationships, Claire's search of variation, and her handling of the complexity of relationships can point to her continuous changes in partners. Though this pattern also suggests she is negotiating a succession of emotional adjustments and adaptations, she could be drawn to the possibilities and excitement of new contacts. Given this, one should ask how someone like Claire fits into her larger life story. Given her continuous swings between spouses, her relationship frequency is not only a number but also her continuous journey through several romantic situations, so shaping her perspective of love and connection. Every new relationship gives her personal story another layer. Thus, she is creating a tapestry of changing relationships from her dating past. 7. Social media presence. As you are browsing social media, you come across Jenna, a woman whose page is bursting with posts from vivid social events, daring exploits, and regular meetings with a wide spectrum of individuals. Her feed shows anything from little weekend trips to friend selfies from far-off worlds. Every post seems to depict a vibrant, bustling social environment. Jenna's social media profile presents insightful analysis of her dating past. Many times, those with many relationships have a large and active social network on their web pages. Her regular updates and varied contacts could point to a life full of many relationships, both platonic and amorous. Let's go over Jenna's tale. Jenna has developed a rich and varied social life over time. Based on her intriguing postings on social media, Her regular attendance at many meetings, trips, and activities exposes a trend of keeping a somewhat large friend count, usually from a background of juggling several relationships, each exposing her to new social circles and events. This degree of dedication mirrors her background, not only of a display of her social life. Jenna's social media page reveals her comfort of sharing personal experiences and maintaining connection with many people. Reflecting her close relationship history, her active online presence can also be a means of staying in touch with former spouses and their networks. Moreover, Jenna's online behavior can reveal hints about her attitude to relationships. Her regular updates can imply a preference in publicizing events instead of exploring more intimate, personal aspect of her life. Maintaining relationships by this candor helps her to keep her own life more private and less emotionally exposed. Thus, keep in mind that someone with a broad and diversified social media presence, like Jenna, usually reflects a complex tapestry of prior events and relationships. Her internet profile presents a life full of varied events and a large network of contacts, molded by her path over various social and romantic relationships. 8. Attitude towards monogamy. Imagine yourself seated at a dinner gathering with the intelligent and intriguing woman Sophie. In a conversation about relationship theories, Sophie fervently expresses her ideas on non-monogamy and open relationships. She expresses great inclination for non-traditional relationship configurations and talks about the freedom and exploration that follow these dynamics. Sophie's method of monogamous offers a different perspective on her romantic past. Those who have had several relationships will see dedication and exclusiveness in different ways depending on their experiences. Sophie's strong beliefs on non-monogamy could be a mirror of a past full of various romantic events that have molded her view of relationships. Let us now chronicle Sophie's life. Sophie has negotiated various relationships over years with varying expectations and problems. Through many meetings with many partners and the dynamics of such relationships, she clearly has a position on monogamy. Sophie's inclination for non-monogamous or polyamorous relationships may result from her need of discovery and adaptation in her love life. Having gone through a variety of relationships, she sometimes feels traditional monogamy to be overly limited or constraining. Her openness to several relationship styles suggests a path whereby she has strived to reconcile emotional bonds with personal freedom. Moreover, this viewpoint of monogamy can be a coping method. Using non-traditional relationships could let someone who has had several partners manage the complexities of closeness and dedication. Sophie discovers a road fit for her changing view on relationships and personal needs by questioning established knowledge. Therefore, consider how past events have shaped the perspective of commitment when you come across someone like Sophie, who clearly advocates non-monogamy. Her point of view results from a mixed romantic past, whereby the study of several relationship models has affected her present attitude to love and marriage. Her view of monogamy reflects changing tastes and a yearning for a romantic engagement that suits her own journey. 9. Past experiences and growth. Imagine yourself strolling with the honest and introspective Lily. Lily describes her trip through many relationships as you discuss the ups and downs of life. Speaking with clarity and wisdom about her past, she shows how every relationship has helped her to grow personally and to understand love. Lily's earlier experiences give her perceptive hints on her present attitude and actions. People who have had multiple relationships usually develop personally much better from earlier mistakes. Lily's painstaking Examination of her root shows how her connections have influenced her viewpoint and guided her development. Let's further investigate Lily's narrative. Lily has worked over years to negotiate a variety of alliances with hurdles and specialized instruction. For her personal growth, these sessions have been really beneficial. Lily has discovered her values, how she handles conflict, and what she expects from a relationship by way of the highs and lows of her love life. Lily clearly and dramatically has moved from her former relationships, suggesting that she paid close attention to her experiences. She might talk about the information she gained and how every relationship has helped her to see herself and approach love. Usually, this degree of consciousness comes from multiple love relationships grown from and experienced. Moreover, Lily's present behavior clearly shows her departure from former relationships. She might have more emotional maturity, better awareness of her needs, and more harmonic attitude to intimacy. Her thoughts go beyond simple repetition of events to show how they have molded her into the person she is today. Therefore, meet someone like Lily, who talks sensibly about her past relationships, and recognize that her views and development mirror a rich history of love adventures. Her capacity to grow personally from navigating various relationships and apply those lessons to her current interactions shows her expertise. Every interaction has helped her to see marriage and love from several angles, therefore guiding her present actions. 10. Emotional maturity. Imagine yourself at a serene park talking with Mia, a lady. As you say, Mia has very amazing emotional maturity. The sun is setting and the surrounds are brilliant. She delivers perceptive analysis of difficult emotional concerns, expertly negotiates conflict, and softly manages sensitive topics. Her answers show a great awareness of everyone, including herself. Given Mia's long history of relationships, her emotional maturity makes sense. People who have had several relationships most surely have gone through a spectrum of emotional difficulties. From this experience, they're evolving complex. Knowledge of emotions and relationships results in increased emotional maturity. Let's enter Mia's narrative. Mia has had many relationships throughout the years that have each imparted insightful teachings about love, communication, and personal development. Having negotiated several love situations, she has grown to control her feelings and approach relationships from a balanced standpoint. Usually, Mia's experiences help her to be cool in handling problems and provide wise insight. She has grown to be able to handle various emotional obstacles and go beyond several emotional problems. Her path through several relationships has helped her to control her emotions and boldly face difficult personal circumstances. Her attitude to new relationships could potentially expose her emotional growth. Mia is maybe more self-conscious. She is aware of exactly her needs and constraints. Driven by her past events and the lessons learned along the road, she could approach intimacy with a more respect and understanding. When you meet someone like Mia showing emotional maturity, understand that her easy handling of relationships indicates her long romantic background. Every relationship has helped her to develop into someone approaching love with wisdom and moderation under control. Her emotional maturity reveals the degree of insight she has acquired on her trek through several relationships. Still, value your viewing until next time.